Okay, we're live on YouTube and we're live on Facebook. How is that? Might be a little choppy. Anyway, anyone can shoot ahead with questions. I'll just start talking. 7:54 here in California. What's up, Bogus Boggs? Had a nice day. Just finished a bike ride and a foundation training exercise. Foundation training is working on the posterior muscle chain. If you guys don't know, posterior muscle chain being this set of muscles along the back of the legs and the back that are firing incorrectly because of all of our sitting and texting and hunching over and bending over like this. Okay. All the time that we bend over like this, we create degeneration little by little, right? Bending over to pick something up like this. We want to learn how to pivot at the actual hip. Obviously, sometimes you just do that and it's fine, but on average, we do want to be pivoting at the hip to activate this posterior muscle chain. Okay, so I just finished a nice workout after the bike ride. I like opening up all this. You can do some of this. Hold it, elbows tight together, fingertips tight together, braced at the spine straight, glutes activated. Okay, so just finished a nice workout. What's up, guys? Maz, Black, Bogus Boggs. Hit me up with them likes. And also, guys, on YouTube, let me know if this is clear. It seems like the Facebook Live is super, super clear. But then, oh, what's up? How are you, Cindy? Awesome. Yeah, John Rose I like, but, he's a little extreme to me. The whole vegan, to be that extreme as a vegan, it's, to me, anyone who's ever been that extreme in my journey has always converted to something else at some point. He seems to be doing it for a really, really long time. It works well for him. Definitely doesn't work with me, that's for sure. Okay, yeah, thank you. Thanks. That's my spare bed. I have 2 beds. I'm about to move out of this place. It's a bit of a mess right now. All right, so I'm going to just tune in and see what I can talk about until I get a really good question. One thing that I thought about today while I was doing my foundation training was that anyone who's really, really suffered immensely knows that at the precipice, at the corner, at the toughest of times, when you're in this corner where you either are going to kill yourself, you're going to die, you're going to go crazy, and there's only one other thing to do aside from those things. It's breath. Anyone who suffered immensely knows that the most torturous mental space you could possibly be in, or physical space for that matter, puts you in a corner where you have all of this stuff on one side, which could be many things: death, torture, suffering, pain, anguish, panic. And then on the other side, the other fork in the other direction you can take is your breath. And we don't only need to suffer immensely in order to learn that lesson. We can use that when life is okay and when life is good. Okay? To constantly remember that our breath is our anchor and our grounding rod that trumps all else. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to die in those days, and all I could do was breathe. Okay? And I'm not talking about like for 1 minute or 5 minutes. I'm talking about where you sit for a half hour or an hour or multiple hours, and all you do is concentrate on the ins, the pause, the out, the pause, the in, the pause, the out, the pause. And every time you waver from that, you just come back and you recognize that anything that's outside of that mission of your breath is an illusion. It doesn't matter how real it may seem or how true it may be. It's an illusion. And your breath will actually help you heal and figure out the answers and resolve all of those problems. Okay? So I just thought I'd share that with you. Let me check out some of the comments here. Dry fasting. Dry fasting, I've never done it. I've done pretty much every other fast in the book, but I've never done dry fasting. I hear it's very, very good technology, but not for extreme periods of time, but it also is very depleting, right? So I believe fasting is obsolete technology, aside from doing it here and there. Oh, that's so cool. I haven't purposely set up anything in this place because I know I'm moving at some point soon. Somebody asked where I'm moving to be determined. It's a couple different locations, undisclosed location for privacy reasons. No, I'm choosing between a couple different places right now. So I haven't set it up perfectly, but it turns out that I have my necklaces and this Buddha of compassion here, the beamer, and my clothes. That's all the clothes I have, right? Like that's literally all. And there's only one or two of those drawers are full. As you guys have seen, I can pretty much wear the same thing every day. But what's that is my 3 jiu-jitsu medals that I kept. I had literally 60, 70 of them, and I kept 3 of them. And I think I'll when I move to my next office, I'll keep these 3. The only 3 I kept, I threw all the others away. It's the White Belt World Championships, 127 people in my division, single man tournament. 127 men enter, only 1 man leaves the champion. That was me that day. 2012 Blue Belt Pan American Championships, 144 people entered that tournament that day. Only 1 man left. The man who I beat in the finals was Joel Hayden, who had beaten me 3 times that year in under a minute, all 3 times. After I beat him, he quit the sport, never to compete again. He may have competed recently, in the last couple of years, but last I checked when I was still in the sport and years after, he was gone out of the game, and he was one of the best blue belts in the world. That dude was hella good. This is the Abu Dhabi Pro Trials as a purple belt. This was a huge, not a huge tournament in terms of how many men. I think there were only 12 or 14 men, but elite purple belts. I beat Mancher Kara in the finals, who's a world-class black belt right now. And then I lost to Dante Leon in the absolute. Dante Leon. Thought I'd brag for a second. So let's check out some of these comments we got here. All right, Cindy, Deb, Owen, David, Masha, what's happening? Maz, ABCD, Black. All right, let's start answering some questions here. Chronic fatigue syndrome, had it for 6 years. Well, that's a pretty blanket. Hold on. Before I answer that, let me see if anything else wants to come through on my will instead of everyone else's questions. I notice I get off center answering other people's questions versus just like feeling what's in the space, what's juicy. What can I talk about right now? So this is something I've been wrestling with, for lack of a better word, after seeing those medals, which is that life is a little flat right now. Okay? Life is a little flat. And what do I mean by that? Well, my life for the past 7 years has been very up and down and all over the place and stimulating and always new things and new projects. And since COVID, thank you, Maz. Thank you. Yeah, I look toned, huh? I never do anything to look good. I do everything for health, but I guess I, in turn, look decent, right? I'm never like model type jacked, but I always like look decent, you know? But yeah, I've just been doing a rebounder, foundation training and a rebounder. That's it. And bike riding. So, I was talking about something important. What was it? Flat. As an exclusive here says, life flat like a woman. Thanks for the reminder. So life is kind of flat right now. There's a lot of I can't look at the comments. Focus. All right. Life is kind of flat right now. And for many of us, life has been not flat, right? There's ups and downs, and there was projects on the horizon, and there's all these things we aspired for. And what's happened recently with COVID and with the restrictions and with the place that the world is going, the direction the world is headed, or at least the phase right now that we're in, is that there's a flatness. Like I had this revelation recently where I realized that I wasn't really that excited to move. Like I've never not been excited to move. The next phase of my life has always been so exciting and inspirational and motivating and stimulating. And I'm kind of just like, I'm going to move to this next place and I'm going to stay indoors for a lot of the time. I'm going to go on my bike rides. I'm going to see my girlfriend. Don't get me wrong. I love my life and I love what I have. And I'm so grateful for all of it. But there's a flatness there. Like it's not super, it's kind of a little flat, right? And I recognized, that, okay, I need to be okay with that instead of fighting that. Because I could try and fight it. I could try and come up with some really stimulating things to do right now. But it's climbing uphill. It's big time climbing uphill. I've tried to do it, right? And I even gambled a couple times during this COVID quarantine because I just needed something to entertaining. And it all leads to nothing. It leads to emptiness, right? It's not really truly rewarding, right? So what I say here is that there does need to be an acceptance, waiting game of this space of flatness for many of you. Many of you, this place of, what's up, Jenna? Many of you, this place may be too flat and you're too used to it and you need to actually break out of it, right? For me, it's the opposite, where it's like, okay, it's happening. There's nowhere to go. A lot of internal time. It's a winter. Nowhere to get high. Just chill, right? Let the storm pass. At this point, at this juncture, I don't see a war that I'm going to fight. Like I don't see this rising up and creating a rally of troops to fight against the masks. I think that the war is a way, there's a book called The Art of War where it says if you can't win the war, you don't fight it, right? So anyway, just flagging that if any of you feel like, feeling uneasy about the flatness right now, uneasy about, the boringness, we're all there. this is coming from someone who is highly motivated. I've been relentless and tenacious for the past 4 years with my life, with my business, with my health, resting and stopping at nothing. And I'm telling you that I'm resting. I'm resting. I feel inspired sometimes. Sometimes I don't. This is my latest kick of inspiration to do these lives. And it feels really, really good. But again, yeah, just like Masha just said right here, just sit tight. This too shall pass, right? Hey, what's up, Patrick? So, how do you go with declaring boundaries now? Were there any major cords you had to cut that were a game changer for you? Yeah, guys, if you like these lives, just comment, like, keep me motivated. Like, I need your validation. I need you to be like, yes, I want you live. I want you to talk. I want you to show up. That feedback system is critical, right? And I think that it's just necessary for me to continue doing these, obviously. So I'm going to answer a question here about boundaries. I like this question. How do you go with declaring your boundaries now? Were there any major cords you had to cut that were a game changer for you? So, yeah, share with me how you feel, if these lives help you, if they inspire you, if they make you feel your heart, if they make you feel they help you feel your spirit, your light. That's the goal. The goal here is to uplift, even if it's just a few hundred of you, right? So, and to bring truth, right? Sometimes truth is not always uplifting. Sometimes it just is. So boundaries are an interesting thing, you know. I think at one point of my journey, when I was very, very sick, I had gaping holes in my etheric field, and one may call it an aura, one may call it psychology, or my psyche, right? There were so many holes and gaping issues that I would go out into public and weird things would regularly happen to me. Like people would just walk up to me and say really abrasive things, or ask me for weird things, or, you know, like homeless people or drug addicts would just come up to me and just like stare at me and just do really weird. I was a magnet for bizarre things. And this is a common thing that I've experienced in people with chronic illness. Like time and time again, my clients will tell me like I'm a magnet for weird things, and I get it. And the reason is because the universe is always filling and showing you where you have holes, and you're always a magnet for what energies are living inside of you. Even if on a mental level, on an intellectual level, which I did, was like, go away, go away, go away, everyone go away. No, Bogus, it's there. Just scroll up. I shouldn't stop my flow for comments. I'm working on it, guys. Look at Maz's comment. You're on the right live. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. All right. Need to take a pause on the comments to get in my flow. I'm not ignoring you. Don't worry. I love that. What's up, Deanna? And reality, words you speak, information. It's so funny that you say that, because in reality, the words you speak and information you share are life-changing to others. I feel the same way. Yeah, dude. Owen, man, it's like I need that affirmation. I need to know if I'm doing a good job. I need to get that feedback loop, right? A lot of people tell me that I help them in big ways, but I forget. Pretty much I can get a amazing testimonial on video saying, Josh, you changed my life. If only there were 1 million of you on the planet. The next day I'm like, you're not good enough, Josh. You suck. You're not good enough at your work. You need to get better. You need to study more. You need to train more. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not helping, right? So I need to hear it literally every day. One healer once told me, one of my best friends now, Toby Hansen, he says, you need to let your people that you heal feed your adrenals. The people that you help, you need to literally let their words feed your adrenals. Otherwise, you're going to never last as long as I have. He's been doing this for like 30 years, right? So, okay. Someone could remind me. Boundaries. When you're in that situation, you're chronically ill, on an intellectual level, you could be like, go away from me, go away from me. You could even go inside of your body and be very, very angry and make a mean face and close up and go away. I'm declaring my boundaries. Go away from me, and you can energetically be closed and distant. and the dark, people who are really, really plugged into the dark forces, they're just going to somehow know that you're like full of shit. They're going to somehow know, like, he ain't in his belly. He's not in his body. I'm going to mess with that. I'm going to challenge that. Right. And so that's one phase, is the intellectual level. Like, yeah, you want to close, right? But on a deeper level, which takes time, okay, you have to get in your body, you have to get in your belly, you have to feel the primal lower dantian, that chi down there, the part of you that can kill, okay, because guess what? All of you have the ability to kill, okay, in a situation. There's a documentary called The Andes Mountains Plane Crash, okay, and the guy gets interviewed on this documentary. Guys, by the way, tell me if my live is working properly. I keep getting this little signal that it's not. This light is coming on and off. So just tell me if the live is not working or if it's working very clear on both YouTube and Instagram, please. I'm sorry, YouTube and Facebook. Just give me a thumbs up if it's working very well. It's pixelated. Damn. Is it still pixelated, Maz? On YouTube, is it still pixelated? How is it clear now? I don't want to be pixelated because I want to post these videos. Damn. I may have to stop going live on Facebook. It seems like the 2 lives is too much. It's a shame. Still pixelated, huh? Damn, the image sucks. I have this amazing camera. Facebook is working great. Oh, what a shame. Okay. On YouTube, does the image come in clear and then come out? Is it like in and out, in and out? I'm going to close everything that I don't need to use right now. It's only clear at the beginning. Yeah, that's what happened to the first video. Damn. Facebook is perfect, but the YouTube is acting up every once in a while. think it's because they interfere with each other. All right, whatever. I'll have to learn how to do this properly. Maybe what I'll do next time is Facebook on my phone and YouTube on my computer. YouTube is more important. Sorry, Facebookers. YouTube is a much bigger audience, and then I end up posting the video to the full platform. So I'll fix that, guys. On YouTube, I'm committed to making that work. All right. So in that movie, the main man who ended up saving pretty much everyone's life through his will and his determination, his name, who I'm in contact with via email every once in a while, just to give you the long and short of it, is a plane crashed in the Andes Mountains in 1972, and it was a rugby team. And they were in the middle of nowhere. And many of them died. There were 70 or so of them, and many of them died, and they ended up having to eat the bodies of their friends in order to survive. Okay? And Kayla Austin says, how many inches? The title says, ask you anything. That's funny. All right. So, Andes Mountains plane crash. His name is spacing on his name, okay? But in any case, he ends up being the most badass of the group. And it wasn't the captain. The team captain of the rugby team ended up going down for the count very, very early. It was interesting how they assigned this captain in normal life, according to normal life, right? And then a new captain arose once life took a turn and they were in a real life or death situation, not just a rugby match, right? So he was asked, don't you think it was immoral what you guys did? Don't you think it's messed up what you guys did, eating the bodies of your friends to survive? And he simply just looked at the interviewer and said, when you're in a situation like that, you yield to what is beneath. You yield to what is beneath. So what is beneath, again, is the ability to kill. If you're in a certain situation, there's a part of you that could come online that can kill. And there's no moral overlay that needs to be put on top of this. But the reason that we need to put consciousness onto this facet of humanity that all of you are capable of is because if you own it now, you can tap into a reservoir of life force that you previously didn't have available to you. And when you do that, you have the ability to convey a message of, don't fuck with me. You have the ability to convey a message of, no, I'm whole and solid, and there's nothing to play with. There's nothing to play with here, right? They're going to choose another car to break into. They're going to choose another car to break into because your car is just, the red is going, and it's a 2000 yeah, the friends were dead. Yeah, they were. It's a 2020. It's got the freshest alarm system. They're going to just choose another car to break into, right? Again, this is all circling back to the boundaries conversation. I imagine that the situations where boundaries becomes most important are, of course, family, close friends, work, client coach, client practitioners, and on the street in this social environment, right? And to be honest with you, now is more boundaried than ever with masks and everything. It's like I used to hate shaking people's hands, and oftentimes I didn't even like hugging that many people. And now it's just like, oh, yeah, it's totally cool. We don't shake hands anyway, right? So, am I still pixelated on YouTube, guys? That's such a shame. All right, next time it won't be like that. Upsetting. So, boundaries. Suppose I could change. My birthday is June 21st. Is masturbation a sin? No, of course not. Do I recommend masturbating? No. I've masturbated once in 3 years. It's all because of the freaking coronavirus. I would have had like 1,000-day no-fap streak. Touching the Jaguar by John Perkins. No, but I have jaguars all over my house, so of course I'll have to Google that book. Touching the Jaguar. Oh, I know about this book. I'm going to have to get it. This was on back order and when I learned about it, and I signed up, but I guess I forgot to get a notification. Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Yep. Thank you. I'll buy that. All right. So when you begin to heal, and of course this takes time, and when you start to get resolve inside of yourself, and when you start to get your needs met, because of course unmet needs are typically the way we get hooked into situations that are less than integral, right? So there are situations that have integrity, right? As small as like seeing someone talking to somebody at a grocery store, to as intense as a long-term marriage, right? There's dynamics that have integrity where both parties are in their power. And then there are dynamics that are on the triangle of disempowerment. You're either the victim, the perpetrator, or the the victim, poor me, the perpetrator. Sorry guys, spacing on the third one. Triangle of disempowerment theory. Victim, rescuer, perpetrator. Rescuer, how could I forget? Jeez, that was my whole life. So victim, rescuer, perpetrator, right? And they could all be to a very small degree, but there are situations in public when you're talking to someone and it just doesn't feel right, right? What's up, Razel? What's up, Don? Rosalie, Surfo, Heidi, Dan, how you doing? There are situations that don't feel good. They're like, you're getting, energetic, let's call it to an extreme, an energetic parasite, which is kind of a very harsh way of calling a human being, because really that human being just doesn't know how to tap into their own life force and get their own sunlight. They're like, basically they're in need of they need you to water them, right? And that's a torturous place to be. So to call them a parasite is harsh, but the truth is that there are people who don't have their own connection to the divine, and they fell from grace, and they're suffering, they're in agony. There's nothing worse than that. And they need you to feed them. They need others to feed them, right? So whenever we're in a situation like that, it doesn't feel right. It's like, oh, there's dutiful part of you kicks in where it's like, oh, I should be nice to them, and oh, I should talk to them. And because of that, of course, it you end up being dumped on. And at the end of the conversation, you just feel yucky and heavy, and they feel, probably good for a temporary period of time. So as we heal, we begin to flag anything that is on that triangle within seconds. Because when you get your needs met and you have resolve inside of yourself, you can see that any of those dynamics, any of the characters that people have, any of the trying to suck your energy that people have, you can see it very, very, very quickly. Right? And that is where boundaries come into play. Boundaries are often a choice where you see something that's not right. You have a second inside to choose. Funny story for you. I'll share with you after this. You have a second inside, sometimes 5-10 seconds, to choose what you need to do in that moment. And sometimes it's really uncomfortable to say something like, hey, I got to go. Or, hey, actually, this isn't working for me. Or, hey, I got a phone call. Got to go. And I'm sorry, guys. That picture sucks. So, Ty Stevens, how you doing, brother? Love that, man. One of the most high beings of light you will ever meet in your entire life. So, I'm going to finish with this and I'm going to wrap up the live because I need to figure out how to do this better. It's unacceptable that the picture is pixelating here on YouTube. So, getting resolve, finding, okay. In that moment, no, I think I need to go live first on YouTube and then go second on Instagram. That's what's going on. That's what's going down. I need to go live first on YouTube. Okay. So next time, I'll get it fixed, guys. All right, last thing I want to say is, in that moment, you have a choice, and you have to choose guilt over resentment. The thing that you're going to do or say to them is going to hurt them in the short run. It's going to hurt their feelings, and it's going to make you feel uncomfortable because we're so used to propping up someone else's feelings and making them feel comfortable. And you're going to leave the situation and you may feel a little guilty. If you don't do it, if you don't create the boundary, you're going to leave the situation and feel resentment. Resentment is always harder to clear than guilt because resentment is 2 steps in. Resentment is a secondary thing that comes in. Guilt is quick and first and fast, and you clear it fast. Whenever you move down the list and you keep spiraling, it gets harder, another layer deeper to clear, another cut to clear. So an example of this, which I'm so proud of myself, is right before the coronavirus, okay? Right before the coronavirus, I was driving in San Francisco, and it was like, there was some sort of virus going around, but it wasn't coronavirus, and nobody really knew what was going down. And I texted an old friend of mine. I said, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. Where do you live? And she's like, at this address. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm here. I'm literally parked outside of your building. Like I had no idea where she lived. No idea. And of all of San Francisco, I knew around where she was in some general region of like northeast San Francisco. I didn't even know the neighborhood. I was at her building. So, let's hang out. So she comes out and she is sick. And she starts a conversation coughing and saying, hey, I just had a wicked flu for the past week. And yeah, I'm still getting over it. And here I am having just gotten fresh over a breakup with my girlfriend, having cried for literally 10 days in a row. My etheric is wide open and I cannot afford to get sick. I was hardly I was hardly able to eat as it was. Okay. Hardly able to eat. And so we're walking and she's coughing and I'm just like, I'm turning red and I'm sweating. I'm just like, nope, this is not right. This is not good. Can't do it. Can't do it. And I was like, well, you should just eat with her. Just eat with her. Just eat with her. Eventually, I just turned to her and I said, look, I'm wide open right now. I can't hang out with you if you're sick. This is not the right thing for me right now. And she took it very personally and she got hurt. And I could tell that she was affected by it negatively. And she was very, I was like, oh, this is the possibility of ending this relationship right now with her reaction that I felt. And I stood firm and I just said, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. So we parted ways that day and we ended up connecting months later. And that was like, hey, that was a funny way to reconnect right before the coronavirus, when people don't even touch each other with a 10-foot pole. I had created a boundary that was soon to be worldwide anyway. Right. So I'm proud of myself for doing that, because I would have had a massive amount of resentment had I not. Right. And so anyway, I like this subject of boundaries. I'm going to leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Next time the YouTube's going to be fixed, and join me. Should I give you a schedule? Leave a comment on this video. Excuse me, if you think I should do it on a schedule, or if I should just do it random. It's kind of tough for me to schedule these things because I just feel it in the moment and I'm like, yes, film now. All right. Much love to you guys. Ciao, ciao. Talk soon. Hope you enjoyed the show. Leave a comment below if you did enjoy it. And when this video comes live, all of you guys who commented live, comment on the real video too. You know what I'm saying? Same? All right. Peace.